We're shifting our focus to the Prime Minister in Ahmedabad. The Prime Minister is just leaving from there. Remember, just a short while before, the Prime Minister as well as his Australian counterpart were in the Motera Stadium, in the Narendra Modi Stadium in Motera, where they watched the match for a short while. Now the Prime Minister leaving from the stadium. These are the visuals from the spot. Remember, India and Australia are working towards boosting ties. The Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has arrived on Wednesday, and today he was in Ahmedabad. My colleague Siddharth is joining us from the spot. Siddharth, it's been a very, very successful visit to the Motera Stadium. Now the Prime Minister leaving from the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this has gone beyond curry and cricket. The Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's visit to India, this signals the strengthened bilateral relationship, and this has been a stupendous event as far as what we can see. The people flocking in huge numbers, that tells you the story of how successful this match and the revival of Test cricket has been. We have to keep this in mind. In the era of T20 cricket, when Test cricket was forgotten, now it has come to its pinnacle. The Prime Minister Modi has left the stadium at this point of time, but people are flocking in huge numbers. The numbers are staggering. The capacity of this stadium is more than 110,000. What we are getting through our sources is more than 60,000 people have already entered the stadium, and still the process is going. People are coming here, not just from Gujarat, but all parts of India. We met people from Australia, more than 150 people. Delegation was here when we met them. They met the Times group. And, it is a matter of celebration for the both of the nations. So that tells you the story that how great and grandeur of this event has been. And this will definitely have very good repercussions, very good results in the days to come. And that is what is being expected by both of the government, especially by India, and especially by the cricket fans and the cricketing fraternity, as we see the great revival of Test cricket back to force again.
Absolutely. The significance of Quad, Australia is also due to host a Quad Leader Summit in Sydney later this year. So this visit is extremely crucial, and this also comes days ahead of a visit by the Japanese Prime Minister Kishida as well, another member of the Quad grouping. So very, very crucial in the diplomacy, Siddharth. And also, like we've always been mentioning, there's been a personal touch to any diplomacy that the Prime Minister brings in, and especially since it was in Ahmedabad, it was all the more special because of the crowd that had gathered, a lot of people from across the country visiting, as well as a lot of people from Australia who had visited for the match, and of course the Prime Minister is visiting.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what has been, and the gravity of the event can be seen when we are standing in there at the stadium, outside the stadium. People I've personally, and the experts which we have met, they've said they've never seen a scenario like this, where people in huge numbers, in hundreds, thousands, lakhs, coming down to watch a Test match. And the first day has been a successful one, as the son of the soil himself was there, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the local favorite, not just of the cricketing community, not just of the country, but especially for the people of Ahmedabad and for the people of Gujarat. That is what we can see. And this tells you the story that how the future is going to be written. Not just, and it has gone way beyond the cricket and diplomacy. The one-to-one relationship, the man-to-man contact with the Australian counterpart, that tells you the story that this event will definitely will come down as one of the most successful Test match events, especially at this point of time, where a record is also going to be created, which we are being told as the time passes by, after 2 o'clock or between that, we might see the highest amount of crowd gathering in the Narendra Modi Stadium. That might be the scene also, because the local officials and the state government have tried really hard. They have planned this very meticulously to make sure that this turns out to be a great event, because this will have its impact not just on the national diaspora, but on the international diaspora as well. It remains to be seen now that how many people come in these numbers and what kind of more record are being created here at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Sports Enclave, now the Narendra Modi Stadium.
Absolutely. And, talking about the India-Australia relations and the significance of it, as we've been saying time and again, there may be bitter rivalry on the pitch, but off the pitch, the two countries share a very, very special friendship. In fact, the two countries had also signed a free trade agreement last year called the Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, the first signed by India with a developed country in over a decade, marking the deep friendship, the equation and the relation of India with Australia. This, of course, resulted in the immediate reduction of duty to zero on almost 96% of Indian exports to Australia and zero duty on 85% of the Australian exports to India. So trade as well as defense are going to be top priority. Remember, a larger comprehensive economic cooperation agreement has been going on for a long time. The negotiations have been going on for over a decade. So this time around, will that be cleared or not is something to watch out for. Discussions had began back in 2011, but it was suspended in 2016 as the talks could not head anywhere. There was no headway in the case. So is that going to be done this time around or not? That's going to be very, very crucial. In fact, the visit of the Australian Prime Minister also starting with Ahmedabad, Prime Minister Modi's home state. So very, very special. The two leaders indulging in some cricket diplomacy, as you're seeing on the screens, as they watch the opening of the fourth and the final cricket test match.